Choir Boys, Run to Paradise on Triple M. It's the Rush Hour with Leisel Jonses, Liam and Dobbo. And the Birmingham Commonwealth Games, what an opening weekend for Australia.
Oh, we're just on fire.
Flying.
And every event, from the marathon to the pool
Killing
to
it.
everything, we're killing it.
We don't actually have time to talk about all the medals we've won over the weekend.
We actually don't.
The Rugby Sevens getting it done early this morning, the women's side. Dobbo, your mate, Demi
Hayes, co-captain of the women's and winning it. Michael and Beck, parents over there. I mean, Michael's sending me videos. I mean, you can imagine a proud father and proud parents watching your children win gold medals.
Well done to them. Jess Stenson in the women's marathon. We mentioned all the swimmers and Leisel Jonses, particularly Emma McKeon, who's knocked you and Susie and Thorpe off the top of the mountain.
How rude. Did she not think of anybody else but herself just by going out and winning 11 gold medals? How dare she?
Sadly, though, the big story out of Birmingham isn't about Emma McKeon. It's about Kyle Chalmers.
Which is Emma's ex.
Exactly.
Which blows my mind that this is such a big discussion.
Sadly, that is the storyline. For those that are unaware, Kyle Chalmers, after anchoring the men's relay team to victory in the 100-metre relay, he was bombarded in his press conference with questions not about the performance, not about the swimming, but about his love life and possible frictions between he and Emma McKeon and Cody Simpson. This is him speaking to Channel 7, the official Commonwealth Games broadcaster, after his 100-metre freestyle heat.
It's hard. It's hard for me to stand up and swim this morning. It's probably one of the biggest challenges I've had to face. I think media don't realise, like I said on my Instagram, how much impact it actually has on athletes and mental health. And for me, it took all my courage and all my energy just to stand behind the blocks and swim this morning. It's not something that I wanted to do. It's not something that I wanted to go through, to be honest with you. I've been so excited for this moment for such a long period of time and been working hard to be here for such a long time, and for how it's unfolded, definitely makes me question my future in the sport.
And in fairness, he shouldn't have to be dealing with this. This is personal life stuff, which is really not that relevant to swimming and performing. He should be able to focus on his races. This is so distracting. And like he has said already, that he's gone from the hero to the villain so quickly. What does who he has a relationship with have anything to do with the swimming that he needs to do? He's performing so well. Why can't we focus on that? And there's been so much criticism around that he didn't congratulate Emma. That stuff is done behind the scenes. They don't need to be big grand gestures of, oh, it looked like he snubbed her. It has actually nothing to do with it. That's all done behind the scenes of things that we don't ever get to see.
Do you think that the media have been and had a role in his listening to him? He's all blaming the media. You know, there's no. Is it as bad as he says it is at this moment?
I think it's very challenging for him at the moment to deal with these sort of headlines and topics and gossip, which is really trash maggie kind of gossipy, salacious stories, which is distracting from his good performances in the pool and Emma's good performances. It's distracting from all the good stuff that's actually happening and we could be covering. But it adds more fuel. There's more stories. The only issue I have with it is this social media stuff didn't exist when I was an athlete. So when you make comments about what's happening now, I don't understand it, because I never performed in an era that was heavily social media, that you could get your story out straight away. Our stories were always filtered and channeled through one system, which was the media. So you did your race, you spoke to the media afterwards, whether it was a press conference or the walkthrough that you do to all the different press outlets. We never had to do all of this. So for us to be able to comment on that is very unfair. I think it's a different world. So they not only have to deal with the media side, which I've dealt with myself and had my own challenges with controversial headlines, but they also have to deal with social media and instant comments from many different people that they have to read all the time.
My take on this, and I've never walked in your shoes at that level, but he chooses to read that social media. He doesn't have to. I do take exception to the fact that after him winning a heat, winning a medal, competing, representing our country, the only questions that are asked are about his personal life and nothing to do with the performance. Now, has swimming, and you've been right bang smack in controversy like this, not of the same ilk, but you've had your dramas there. Is it that Swimming Australia didn't get on the front foot, nip this in the bud, get him up in front of cameras, let all the questions be asked prior to the Commonwealth Games, so it never did, and this is the first opportunity? Or is it just it should be off topic?
Well, I think it just should be off topic because it actually has nothing to do with the swimming. And this story existed so long ago that I don't really know why they're bringing it up again and why it's so interesting now. I just find that really strange. This story happened so long ago. And all these other storylines that pop out from this, that Kyle took up butterfly because he doesn't want Cody because he saw Cody take up butterfly. I just thought that was ludicrous because it has actually nothing to do with that. When Kyle Chalmers is an Olympic gold medalist and Cody Simpson, they're all supporting each other. He's made the Commonwealth Games team. It is actually, by the sounds of it, I don't know behind the scenes, but sounds really supportive. So it's funny that this story is now gaining momentum and is so big in the media world and in Birmingham because this existed so long ago.
As somebody who has, as Dobbo said, you've been through your own turbulent times with headlines that are at sometimes made up. Would you blame Kyle Chalmers if he walked away from the sport after these games?
No, I wouldn't blame him at all because it wears you down. It's so exhausting. And when your competition, it depends on 0.01 of a second to win an event. If you're dragged down by heaviness of storylines, why wouldn't you go and do something else that maybe was more fun? He's got an AFL background. He's certainly
24 years of age.
He's 24. He's so young. I think he'd be forgiven for walking away from an event that has so much training involved. Competition is so few and far between. We only get a few opportunities, and he's still so young and fit and could do whatever he wanted to.
I don't want to be the devil's advocate here, but is it a little bit of a cop out that he's blaming the media to walk away? And don't take me wrong; they are in the wrong for asking this, but he does not have to listen to this. You're subjected to it. In a minuscule way, I'm subjected to it every day. I choose not to listen to it. I know he's talking about narratives and he doesn't want to swim and all this stuff. But he chooses, people are going to say stuff all the time. If he's a swimmer, he's an Olympic gold medalist.
The thing is, he can choose not to listen to it, but he can also, it's his right to ask them to stop.
Sure.
So he's well within his rights to say, look, I'm not coping at the moment. My mental health is not very good. If you continue to do this, this is going to happen. He is well within his rights to
100%.
say, please stop, let me focus. For the best of our performances and to win gold medals, I think he's well within his rights to say, please stop.
And I think there's a difference between reading things on social media and being asked direct questions by media in press conferences. This is Naomi Osaka. This is the same reason she decided to withdraw from the French Open. She didn't want to endure this. She has every right to make that decision. I just hope we haven't seen the last of Kyle Chalmers in an Aussie Swimming Cup.
No, we would hate to lose him.
It'd be
He's
a real
such an
shame.
incredible, talented athlete. And if he loves the sport, he is inspiring so many children out there to perform at the Olympic Games, the Commonwealth Games, the World Championships in swimming. We're so lucky to have him in the Australian
he's a leader
swimming.
in that swimming
he
team
sure
too.
is, and he's an exceptional human being. We cannot afford to lose Kyle Chalmers.
Can I, at any point, make a comment on some tattoos and earrings and piercings?
Well, we
Go
can get to
ahead.
that another day.